people, welcome back to Interaction with Bellina Red on all social media platforms, including Facebook and Instagram. It's Bellina_Red. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel so that every time I upload a video, YouTube will be able to notify you. Hey, so as you can see today, I have a visitor. I'm with Samgele Radebe. So in today's video, we'll be discussing marrying in community of property and out of community of property. He is for out of community of property and I'm for in community of property. So basically, for me, marrying in community of property, if I get married to someone who actually wants to get married with me in community of property, it shows that they don't only love me, but they trust me with their money. They trust me that, I have the capability of helping them grow and make more money. So what are your views in that? You know what? In community of property is a no-no. So you are against in community of property, but you are for out of community of property. Why is it the case?
What I believe and what I think is that even though you marry in community of property, there should be a prenup that should be signed for both parties, because you will never know the true intentions in the heart of a person. Even though you claim that you know a person, you will never ever know a person 100%. So you'd rather be safe than to be sorry, because some other people, they do get married to other people just because of the benefits that they see that they're going to get.
So when are you saying that you'll be in a relationship, but actually you don't trust that person because you can we can never fully know a person, but I believe that, if, a person accepts to marry you and they accept you with all your flaws and with all your weaknesses, doesn't that tells you something about them?
Remember, as people living on this earth, some other people, they have nothing to lose after all. Yeah. So whether they do get married to a person in community of property, remember.
So let's say you both have money, because you're saying it's like as if, okay, the other person comes into the marriage without money and then you're the one coming with the money. So you're saying because that person came with nothing, they have nothing to lose. But let's say you both have money.
And then that might be a different case after all.
Oh, so you will only agree to in community of property if you're both wealthy or rich for that matter. But if a person has less money than you, then you have a problem with that.
Not really that they come with, even though they just come up with something on the table. You understand? Don't come empty-handed and your hands are just hanging. And then you tell me of in community of property, because at the end of the day, if things they don't go our way, you have nothing to lose. But the person who came with everything has everything to lose.
But don't you think they've lost someone who loves them, who cares for them, who has able to even want to marry them?
After all, let us be honest and let us be frank with this matter. The new era and the new generation is different from the one of our forefathers and our parents and so on. You understand? Right now, people, they get attracted into relationships or dating someone or get married to a person, or just because of that particular person has material things.
Don't you think there are still genuine people out there? Like they say, okay, fine, it's really hard to find someone who's genuine, but there are people who are still genuine out there who are not after your money,
But then what are the stats of that?
No, but that's not the point.
No, that's the point exactly. Because out of 10, you might find out that it's 1.
Who's trustworthy and willing to
exactly,
love you with
and
money.
The majority rules. So if let me ask you a question. If in a bag of potatoes, all of them they're rotten and only one is consumable, will you consider that pack useful?
Yes, it will be a useful pack, because that one that is consumable, it's the one that I'm going to grab and leave the rotten ones.
And you have to feed maybe 10 members of your family. Who's going to get the potato and who's not going to get it?
What are you trying to say now?
What I'm trying to tell you is that in a group of people in the society that we live in, people, they are so intrigued about materialistic things and all that. And the majority of the people, what makes it not a society that should be trustworthy, for that matter, women that should be trustworthy with our money and our wealth, because most of them, they date or they get married to a person whom they see that they have something to benefit from them.
I think even when a guy approaches a girl, there's something that you've seen that you think might be of benefit to you. But however, at the end of the day, it's all about trust, it's all about love, it's all about integrity. So I believe that in terms of that, you can still manage your finances and get your wife involved in it.
You see,
it's like the next thing now, you'll be buying property, investing into, tell her, it's like as if for you, you know what, ne? I want to marry you out of community of property, so that if this marriage doesn't work, you know what, with marrying in community of property, there are a lot of paperwork that takes place when you get a divorce. So if you're marrying out of community of property, it's like something like you can just move out right now and then we sign the divorce papers and then it's finished. But I feel like also with community of property, you'll find it hard to divorce your wife, because you are seeing that, this wife is an investment to me and we've invested into each other. So letting go of each other, it's actually won't be of benefit to both of us. So if you're married out of community of property, it's like you have trust issues, and it's like, if we get a divorce, it will be very, very simple.
I have a question for you. What's mostly important, love, trust and everything, or the paper that you're going to sign, whether it's on community of property or out of community of property? What's mostly important?
You know what?
No, just answer the question. What's mostly
answer the
important?
question.
Yes, don't listen, just answer the question. Community of property.
Both for me it's important.
Why is it important?
Love and marrying in community of property, to me it's both important, equal important for that matter.
Why?
For me it's both important because when you get married to a person, you become one flesh. So what you're trying to say is that you're going to have your own account, I have my own account. It's like I can do stuff on myself, I can get in debt on myself, you can get in debt on yourself. So when we combine everything, it shows that we are one thing, not two things.
Let me tell you something. According to my understanding, marriage, it's a spiritual part of it that matters, not the physical part of it. So, in other words, to me, you are basing marriage on the physicality, materialistic and everything, that it has to be something that we come together with. But then you don't mention the spiritual part of it. Because I believe that when people, they are spiritually married, it's much more important than all these things that we have mentioned in community of property or out of community of property. That comes after. You get
that I agree with you. That's why hence I'm saying that, speaking about spirituality, we both become one flesh. So that means you trust me.
So
if we become one flesh and one spirit, then why should we have divided accounts?
Because the spiritual of marriage has nothing to do with our material things. Why material things that are so important to you?
It's not a matter.
You should be arguing the sake that the spirituality is mostly important than material things.
Listen, I believe
which makes the community of property in this case less important than the spiritual part of it.
I believe if we are getting married and we are spiritual beings, we become one flesh.
Yes.
Then why should we have a divided account? You're failing to answer that question.
No, I'm not failing to answer
what you're saying is that okay, fine, we are getting married, so whether we get married in community of property or out of community of property, it's not important. That's what you're saying.
That's
exactly
it's
not important. And however, it is important. Remember, we do not know when we're going to die. So it might create a conflict among families that, you married out of community of property. So when they come into your house, they might want to take over the house, take over your businesses if you have one, take over your cars and all of those things. So that also helps to protect your wife in terms of those things. You know, there are parents who believe that even though their children get married, but they still belong to them. Fine, they still belong to them. But however, I believe when a person gets married, when you get married, there are certain things that you should really do in order to protect your wife, just in case.
You see, let me tell you something. So as black people, there are so many things that they serve as vehicles to protect whatever that you have for your wife after you have passed on. For instance, very few black families you find them having trust, having you name them, having policies that protects their property and that favors their wife and all those sort of things. You understand? We live for the sake of living, get married, and then we become ignorant of other things that one day you will pass on, and you need to state these things, you understand, on black and white, and sign that they shouldn't bother your wife after you have passed on. But then we don't do that. You understand? So trust accounts and trust family accounts or whatever, they are so important because of that. Now, I will go back to my point. Marrying out of community of property, it does not mean that love is not in that marriage, or trust and everything for that matter. You understand? Everything, it's there. It's just that after I've passed on, I serve no purpose in this earth. So whether they take my things or they do whatever, because I'm gone. I'm not alive.
Yeah, that's
you
what,
understand?
yes.
So now my point to you is that for as long as I'm on this earth, it matters my money, my property, my cars, and everything. Hence, that is why I need to protect myself, because you will never know. A person, we toss and turn.
Yeah.
You understand? And we do change our minds.
Yeah.
That is why you find people who were true to themselves and who were just okay in the community, but then with some reason they wake up being different people. So how are you going to be assured that your partner is not going to wake up to be someone else that you do not know? So that's where it comes in, this thing of marrying out of community of property, because you need to consider the future. Don't let love blind you. You understand? Because there are so many people that became ignorant and they focused on loving the person. And today, because of the decisions that they took, not considering all the other, let us be honest. In everything that you do in life, you should consider the negative part of everything.
Very true.
You understand? So whether you get married or not, you have to take into consideration the negative part of it. That how is this going to affect me if I marry in community of property with this person? And then after that, because we are different people after all, and we have different views about these things, and our futures are different, like we're planning our future different, and then you take it from there. That's all that I'm saying. I'm not convincing people. After all, this is my opinion, and everyone is entitled to their own opinion, and they are not wrong. No one is wrong in this earth, because every person believes that whatever that they think is correct. That is why we are different beings. You understand? So my view about these things is that just that people, they have to be alert of everything, and not turn a blind eye because of they found someone that they love. Because people, we do change. Like my point exactly, because marriage is the same as marriage. Is just that it's a different kind of a relationship, but after all, it's just like any other relationship.
Okay. So BR team, we can argue the whole day, hey? So please, on the comment section, engage with us and tell us what are your views about this. And also, if you're doing law, please give us a legal advice. I think we need it. Till next time. Bye.